Hey, welcome everyone, and thank you for taking the time to participate in this Q&A. If you're wondering whether you're in the right place, we're talking about how to build capacity in your business with virtual assistants. And I'm Ed Hart. I'm the Director of Marketing for EverSource Wealth Advisors. And for those of you who don't know much about us, we're an RIA that's called by the Lord to have kingdom impact in the financial services industry. First, by being a home for faith-driven, fee-based financial advisors. And then second, by being an outsourced service provider to other RIAs. And I have with me Jessica Riner, the founder of the virtual assistant company, Consider It Done. And at the end of 2020, Consider It Done joined the EverSource family as a part of our suite of EverSource Advisor Services. So Consider It Done is your source for virtual administrative help, general bookkeeping, client servicing, and marketing support. And as Jessica will tell you, if you call Consider It Done, they can do anything an in-house assistant can do except get your coffee. So Jessica and her team are also located in Texas, which, as you know, is in the middle of a pretty severe snow and ice storm this week. And so we've pre-recorded this Q&A in the event that they've got connectivity issues. So Jessica, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Jessica Riner. I started Consider It Done in 2003 in my dining room. I had a toddler and I was pursuing opportunities to work from home. I had been traveling all over the country and I just needed a change. So my best friend, since we were 7 years old, is a financial advisor, and she asked me if I could be her virtual assistant. So I didn't have any idea what a virtual assistant was at the time, but I said, sure. That would be great. And so that's where it all started. Just started in my dining room, and it's grown from there. Now we service over 20 advisory firms. I have 6 employees, and actually that number is growing as we speak, thanks to just the benefits of partnering with EverSource. So one thing we can't do is serve coffee at client meetings, but we can order it and have it delivered.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. So that's fantastic. So we're going to spend a few minutes talking about how virtual assistants can help free you up in your business and focused on what's most important to you. So let's kind of jump right in. So my first question is, let's talk about what are some of the problems that you solve for advisors.
Well, many firms really don't need or want a full-time employee, especially the smaller fee-only advisors. They need help, but again, full-time is just not something that is in their budget or really something they want to deal with, the payroll hassles and all of that. So we can fill that void for advisors. One non-traditional example of a service that we provide would be that we have become a fulfillment center for one of our clients' marketing campaigns. And I'll tell you more about that in a moment. That's been interesting. And for another client, we help create informative PowerPoint presentations for virtual or in-person prospective client meetings.
That's great. So you kind of cover the gamut, not just of the basic client servicing, but you're also able to do a variety of things for your advisor clients. So why don't you talk about some real life examples of how advisors' lives and businesses have been transformed by moving to a virtual assistant model?
Well, I'd say that the biggest benefit to our advisors has been that we give them the freedom to focus their time on communicating with their clients and building their businesses. And what it does is it really just frees them of the responsibility of preparing new client onboarding paperwork, opening and transferring accounts, submitting money movements, and all the other daily administrative tasks that we've been helping advisors with for the last 17 years. We do have tasks that we complete that are outside the norm. For one of our clients, we put together and ship glossy, fancy brochures and other information customized for their prospective clients. For another client, I'm in charge of proofreading and uploading his blog posts to his website. And I just received one of those today, so I'll be doing that after this interview.
Well, I know that the term virtual assistant can conjure up some preconceived ideas in people's minds. So What are some of the common fears that advisors have about outsourcing to virtual assistants?
Some of them may be picturing a sweatshop in China or in a basement somewhere. Our office is located in Jacksonville, Texas. That area is known as the Piney Woods. And honestly, it's been a great place to live, to raise our children, and more recently for a few of our virtual assistants, grandchildren. So as long as advisors let their clients know who we are and where our office is, everything goes smoothly. I'm pretty sure our accents are the first clue to East and West Coast firms clients that we're not in-house. We do our very best to be professional, but every now and then you will hear a y'all slip out of my mouth. Initially, one of our advisory firms in California was concerned about their clients knowing we were in Texas. And the advisor thought that his clients would be nervous about mailing documents to us or answering calls from an unknown area code. But once he added us to his website, all the confusion was alleviated. In fact, we're listed as client support or administrative personnel on many advisors' websites. So we understand the apprehension some advisors initially have. We always reassure them that building relationships with our advisors' clients is so important to us. And because of our personalities, honestly, my whole team, we have very caring natures. We have an amazing culture at Consider It Done. We've really developed friendships with numerous end clients that we've known for years. Recently, when one of the end clients, one of our advisors' clients, heard about what was going on in Texas right now, she called just to make sure that we were okay. I completely understand advisors are rightfully concerned about security, their client data, and we have that covered. Our IT provider is a company called True North Networks, and not long ago, I purchased secure laptop computers for each one of my employees. They only have one thing on them: access to a managed remote desktop. It's called a virtual desktop interface, and VDI is what we call it. All of our work is done on that secure VDI. One thing that's come up with this partnership with EverSource, one of the many benefits, is that we'll be able to scale our infrastructure on a national basis and continue to have enterprise level security. Every now and then we talk to an advisor that's worried that we'll share their client data with other advisors, and we would never do that. Advisor privacy is really critical to our business, and just like our advisors are fiduciaries, we bring the same mindset to our advisor clients. We sign their compliance agreements. We serve, for every advisor we serve, we don't breach the contract. I mean, that would kind of defeat the purpose of what we do. We work very hard to make sure that we're in alignment with what the advisor needs and just general compliance. Another important component is that we've always worked in a very compartmentalized way. We log into an advisor's CRM system. We do the work listed for the current day. And after we're finished, we log out and move on to the next advisors.
Thank you. That's really helpful. And those are some great answers. We probably have watching this some advisors that are considering outsourcing. And so what would you want them to know up front about how to make a virtual assistant relationship successful? And I guess another way to ask that is, what are some of the mistakes that you would want to avoid up front when working with a new advisor?
When a new advisor chooses CID, we start with a conversation about expectations. I've always been told that an unspoken expectation is a premeditated resentment. And so we have to communicate, we have to get that out there. And as advisors come on board, we'll discuss and work to understand their specific needs. We've got to determine the best way to communicate and outline processes and preferences, all of those things. One thing CID is not good at is emergencies. Due to the nature of the way we work, we may not be in your system when the emergency occurs. We might also be on the phone, otherwise unavailable. So there's really no way to guarantee an immediate response. Again, the nature of a virtual assistant. If a prospective advisor is not proactive and forward-thinking, the relationship will be frustrating for everyone. Another key piece is that a contact relationship management system is critical. All tasks assigned need to be entered in the CRM under the client record. We can help you set up your CRM, but we can't make you use it. And the primary measure of a successful relationship with us is the advisor's use of the CRM. Bottom line, if you aren't willing to use your CRM, then you will be frustrated. It just won't work. We don't mind scheduled calls with advisors, especially during the onboarding process. But once everything is in order and tasks are entered into the CRM system, that's the best way to communicate. We'll have specific guidance in writing. One thing that gets crazy is emails and voicemail messages. Those can get lost. Again, CRM. CRM is number one. Text messages are actually completely discouraged because they're a compliance nightmare.
Yes, setting those expectations on the front end is so important, and appreciate you sharing that, because I think whether an advisor uses Consider It Done or any other virtual assistant outsource model, getting that right on the front end is critical to making a relationship successful. One of the things that really attracted EverSource to Consider It Done, just besides your great business model, the fact that you've been doing it for a really long time and have a tremendous amount of experience, and the fact that EverSource was a client of Consider It Done and had real experience outsourcing. But also, the thing that really attracted to us is that having Kingdom Impact is really important to both of us. So can you talk for just a moment about how you are intentionally working to use your business for Kingdom Impact?
Well, it starts with how I started this business. And how I've seen God moving in every season of this business, from number one, just from the original opportunity to help my best friend, but then how it grew just steadily, and at every turn I could see God's hand, because when I was by myself with a toddler at home and a growing number of clients, every time I needed help, the help literally came to me. So Jamie was my first hire after a discussion with her at a Mother's Day out gathering at church. She was quickly followed by Angela, who heard about me from a mutual friend. Rochelle called me the morning after a huge project was assigned to me. And I was wondering how in the world I was going to take care of it. I was literally putting on makeup and the phone rang, and she laughs about this because she called and just asked me hesitantly if I ever needed any help, and I asked her if she could come over right now. And she did, and her kids came with her, and played in the backyard with my son. So Lynette and I were at church putting up Christmas decorations, and she brought up the fact that she was not happy with her current job. She didn't know I needed help with a new advisor client, obviously, when that conversation started. So it's just been amazing. And
yeah, that sounds really neat. I'm encouraged about how the Lord has just provided the employees for you when you needed them. And what's amazing about that is how you're helping them, particularly moms, to be able to find employment, to provide for their families, to make extra income, to be able to utilize their skills in a really nurturing environment. And I just think that's really exciting. And EverSource is all about not only Kingdom Impact in the financial services industry, but also Kingdom Impact within our own firms. And so I just appreciate you sharing that. And then I just wanted to ask you, what are some of your thoughts about the partnership that we have with EverSource now?
Our partnership with EverSource has provided the ability to increase our capacity to service additional advisors. As a small business with limited resources, it's always been a challenge to meet the massive demand for outsourcing. And partnering with EverSource has allowed us to increase the scale of our operations and the capital for growth. Honestly, I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to work alongside such amazing boots on the ground, walking the walk Christians. They inspire me every day.
Well, again, thank you, Jessica. We're about to open up the Zoom meeting for some questions, assuming that we have a little bit of time. But my final question to you is that if someone wants to learn more or wants to start the process with Consider It Done, what would be the next step?
It would be great if they could just send me an email to Jessica, Jessica, at consideritdonecompany.com.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and stay warm and safe there in Texas.
Thank you.